uh, a little bit hard on the shoulder. Well, this is A-Win, otherwise known as Big Pontiac. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. Welcome. I am the holder of the infinite ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. And I am also your galactic daddy-o, welcoming each and every one of you on the galactic patio, from Minnesota to the universe and through the universe. And I hope all of you are having a very smooth night. I drank beer earlier tonight, so pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. I'm smoking, I'm drinking copper infused, fugite filtered water. Lorenzo, what's happening? If you still here, hey PJ, if you still here, what's happening? Hey homie, what's going on? What's going on? Just want to do a little recap over the Suns just beat the Bucks, and they showed the one dude breaking his hand tonight. Like I was talking about the trade of DiVincenzo, Shouty Bond being out the league. I was just like looking at that Bucks team. So they brought in a new dude named Winnington. He was on a 2-day contract, so he was getting DiVincenzo's plays. But what's the boy, Grace, I think his name, Grayson Allen? Yeah, him and DiVincenzo was basically the same player. When they traded for Grayson Allen, they traded to replace him. You can see. They're basically the same player. Grayson Allen is a bigger dude, better defender, not as athletic. But that number 24 dude that broke his hand, that dude is the same player as DiVincenzo. So it's like, who drafts for them? What are they thinking? Why do you keep bringing in the same players? Why do you keep there we go. Why do you keep getting rid of players that probably could have helped you? I mean, you draft these dudes in the first round, and 2-3 years you get rid of these dudes. Where's the player development? Yet you develop Giannis. Giannis come in the league, what, 6'9", 6'10", 190 pounds? You sure let him develop. Grayson was playing dirty at Duke. Yeah, well, I mean, they gave him a role. You know, that's all. They gave him a role. He fulfilled it. You know, out of that championship team, he was the only one that played all 4 years. All the rest of them booked after their freshman year. That's why I look at even Ty being with Memphis. And he wasn't drafted until damn near the 30th pick. He was one of the last picks. But, you know, Ty winning a championship. Shotty was picked maybe 15th, right out the lottery, because the lottery only goes up to 14. If you were picked within 14, you're considered in the lottery. I think Shotty was the 15th pick, so he was right outside. He was right outside where the Bucks had it. So, yeah. So it just makes you wonder. It just really makes you wonder how are they really evaluating people? I mean, look at the Nets. So you bring in Seth Curry over. You got Patty Mills. You got that dude from West Virginia. I can't think of his name. He has a beard and wears his hair close, but he only like 5'11". Patty Mills only about 5'11". You bring Seth over that's about 6 foot. I mean, you gonna play all them dudes once? Why would you want such undersized people on your team? Now, the dude from West Virginia hustles, I'll give that to him, but Patty Mills and Seth, I mean, I'm not understanding that. I'm not understanding Patty Mills and Seth. I'm here listening to you in my new Sony phone. I love how this phone, how you sounding. The sound is so crisp and has nice bass. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got a little mic I'm using tonight. So thank you. Wow. I don't think none of this shit work. I don't think the phone picks any of that up. But that's all right. That's all right. Well, thank you, Lorenzo. I'm trying, you know. As but that's just looking at how they bring people in. Chris Paul gonna be 30 and 37. He's the same age as LeBron. And as I said earlier, you telling me it ain't a bunch of dudes in America that's young? Hey, Derek, what's happening? There's younger. I mean, it's just it makes you see, because see, this is why they want them old dudes. The old dudes be better with the script. You know, with people thinking that oops. But the old dudes be better with the script. So that's why they keep them for so long. Because they know how to run it. You know, like the Chris Paul Walk of Shame. I still got the Lakers winning the title. They're trying too hard at this point to scare the bettors away from the Lakers. Ooh, homie, I don't know about that. Just the way they're put together. It's like I said with Harding would never win a title. I don't think they're gonna let Westbrook either. My only pause would be Westbrook wore the dress. And because he wore the dress, that would be how I would base how they would go. Because he did do the shame ritual. So we can see. Oh, I didn't bring. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I right now I'm leaning more towards the Sixers. I'm still leaning towards the Sixers. I don't think the trade, again, building Simmons is going to help them on defense. Not going to help them on offense. They're going to be at a slack off because you got two players, other players, when Durant come back, and you got Irvin. Where does he fit in? A dude that has to have the ball to make things happen. I don't see where he fits in. Grayson continued his dirty play when he committed the hard foul on a Bulls player a few weeks ago. The Sixers got. The Sixers got. Yeah, I don't like. I like Harding makes no sense either to them. I mean, you see, he's going to be a journeyman. At this point, what is he, a journeyman superstar? There ain't been too many journeyman superstars. You can say Crawford. Like at one point, Crawford, I would say, was just as good as Harding has shown. I mean, maybe not the loading in on the points, but as far as a dude who's going to score and be consistently scoring, Crawford was probably just as effective. I mean, you look at his overall game. So Frank Vogel going to get choked out if he keep benching Westbrook. Well, it's about that money. It ain't about his play. Sure ain't about his play. And what is that new? They give the new positives. I mean, Westbrook never plays in the positives. The new basketball analytic. So I don't know. In that regards, the trade didn't make no sense. I would say, if anything, Frank Vogel might get fired, and then somebody just miraculously comes in and changes the team. Sixers gonna make the finals. Embiid jersey 21, hard number 121 plus 1. The year is 22. Wow, nice breakdown, homie. A very nice breakdown. Thank you for that. Could be, but will they let Harden win? I still feel the same way. Maybe, because there's some dudes that you never thought they would, and they let him get one. Like, you never thought Oscar Robertson would get one. You never thought Jerry West. Jerry West lost 9, I believe. I know most of them years that when the Celtics won their 8 in a row, most of the time they were playing the Lakers. Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. Will Chamberlain, Jerry West came in the league in 59. So from they didn't have Wilt until 69-70 season. So it was just Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. Shit, young Elgin Baylor put in that work. I mean, they was losing, but it was like he was scoring 30, 40 points. They just had enough Celtics could each score 20 themselves and beat Elgin Baylor. But it was some of them games where Elgin would score 50 and Jerry West would give him 30, and they were still losing. Which tell me in most instances that would cause you to lose. So not normally. Do the Sixers have 1 or 2 championships? I know they got the Dr. J championship as the Sixers. I'm sitting there trying to think. I'm pretty sure the Warriors were given the championship when Wilt, 66-67 team or 67-68 team. I want to say 66-67, but could be wrong. Might be the next year. So I think that was the Warriors that won. I think they was the Warriors. They were still the Warriors. They hadn't moved out to San Francisco yet. So when the Celtics won them championships in the 60s, it wasn't that many teams. It was like 14. Yeah. I mean, that's the knock on Wilt Chamberlain. That's the knock on Wilt, that Wilt didn't play against that many teams. Sometime might even been less than 14. Some of these teams, disappeared. Like, if you looked at the Sacramento Kings, the team that's the Sacramento Kings, that was originally the Syracuse team. I think they was called the Syracuse Nationals, maybe. And they went from Syracuse to Cincinnati. And Oscar Robertson played for the Cincinnati Royals. And then they went from Cincinnati to Oklahoma. And I think they were still the Oklahoma Kings. When Nate Archibald played, he played for them. And then they moved up to Sacramento. And Sacramento almost lost them without a new arena. Remember that. So, Harden Embiid look like a phenomenon. It really will. If the deciding factor really looks like Harden can really mesh with him. Now, I'll say this: with Seth gone, Harden's gonna get Seth shots. I think Harris and Harden will play well together, because once Harden starts breaking everybody down, they're going to really try to slough off on and still guard Embiid, and then try to throw something in front of Harden. I could see the forward getting some shots. I could see him getting some shots. I forgot his name, like talking old man and y'all, but I could see him getting some shots. The Sixers got 2. Okay, so it was the Sixers by then. Okay. It was, because they beat the Warriors. Yeah, they beat the Warriors because Nate Thurman was on. They beat the Warriors because when they beat the Celtics and they finally got over the hump of the Celtics, they played the Warriors in the finals. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So 67 they was. Yep. I remember now. And I'll tell you a great book. I mean, if you're just a basketball junkie, a basketball historian, the 1967 season, so it's 67, 68, there's a book and I think the book is just about the playoffs. You get that book and they got all the records in there. Wilt averaged a triple-double in the playoffs back in 67, 68 season. In the playoffs, he averaged a triple-double. And it wasn't assists. It was like he was having 10 blocks. But as I've seen made popular, look it up. It's a good book, though. It's a good book. But look at his numbers. He averages a triple-double winning that championship. Guarantee when the Sixers play the Nets in March, somebody's going to be out with a fake injury. They don't like showing previews of playoff matchups with all the playing. Well, they kind of did tonight. You know, they kind of did tonight. They talking about could be the finals. Kind of did that tonight. But it doesn't seem like Durant, you know, since he tore his Achilles, I mean, look how often he been getting hurt. He's been getting hurt quite often now since he's tore his Achilles. So, but where did Porzingis go? Because they got rid of Porzingis too, which I was surprised. I was surprised Dallas got rid of him. But they were showing that they were saying last year that Luka and Porzingis wasn't getting along, and obviously the playing style. Again, Luka's another cat that you can see where age he's got a little bulk, but on defense he's still a liability because he's not strong enough. Washington, I think. Okay. No, it was what's his name? 12, 13. I was saying his name. Washington, I think. Yeah. Tobias Harris. Harris was the one I was saying. Because Harris is still there. And I think Harris's game will benefit from having Harden. Kind of, you know, Harris benefited from playing with Ben. So that'll be the one. But Harden's game is just so limited because he has to have a ball. You know, Harris is like, or Harden is the same way that made Karl Malone score the second most points. Free throws. I bet if you looked at Karl Malone's career, I bet it's a point in his career where he probably got 10 to 15 free throws for seasons a game. 10 to 15 free throws for seasons. I mean, you watch their game, he at the line every other minute. Every other play is Malone at the line. Harris can stretch the floor. Yeah, because Harris can shoot too. And then the other cat is coming back. Buck, was that his name? He's coming back. Did you see the Lakers lose to the Blazers when the Blazers traded their whole team away? Yeah, I watched that. I think I watched that last night. Harris can stretch the floor. Yeah, he can. That's my thinking. Because he doesn't really need the ball. He'll move. And as Harden is able to move. And then, you know, he's going to be able to do the same clear outs to Embiid. But they're going to have to kind of watch where Harden is because Harden can hit the deep shots too. So Harden didn't work with Irvin and Durant. He's too ball dominated. And you got these other two dudes is ball dominant. And then the thing they faked is the injuries. And then they made that they don't get along. You know how they be making that shit up. To give two number ones, not head up, made no sense. But the second one wasn't until 27. So, but the first one is next year, which that was too much. I think that was too much. That is too much. Ultimate Shaving TV head saying the Lakers' lowest point of the season. Makes sense for it to turn up now. I don't know. I still don't. I just don't see it. I mean, the Lakers really, if you watch a Laker game, other than LeBron to get some breakaways and shit, it's almost like in watching the Globetrotters and the Washington Generals. It really is. And most NBA is. But it's like I remember one game. I don't know if I was at the game or I watched the game, but I think I was at the game What? Yeah, yeah. I had to be at the game. One of our partners scored. He played for both teams. He played for the Globetrotters and he played for the Generals. One night he lit him up. He lit him up, and I wish I could think of the brother's name. I could picture him, but he lit him up. He had 50 on the Globetrotters. I mean, granted they lost, but he lit him up that night. But again, he was playing on both teams. He would be some games he played with the Generals, and then other games he would play with the Globetrotters. But he lit him up one night. We watched him. He had 50. No, them injuries were fake. And if you remember, the start of the last season was the same as the start of the season for the Nets. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Nets have never won. And the double, they double hate the Nets because the Nets won a title in the ABA. It's like they almost kind of holding it back. It's like, why isn't it a team in Kentucky? They gave the St. Louis Spirits owner $1 billion. They gave the owner of Kentucky $1 billion. These dudes, if you guys don't know the merger, study the ABA NBA merger for Kentucky and the St. Louis team not to have teams. The St. Louis dudes was like, okay, give us a TV share. And don't you know these dudes got 5 or 6 like billion? It was like the deal they got was hitting the NBA so hard that Stern went back in and was like, hey, y'all been getting paid for 30 years now. It's probably enough. But they was good business. But really, the only reason I could see that the team didn't stay in Kentucky was for the college, not to compete with the college. Because Kentucky is just as basketball crazy as Indiana. I mean, Kentucky basketball is king. I mean, shit, they still got the arena named after a very racist mug, Rupp. The arena is still named after him. When I was young, I remember seeing Karl Malone on the free throw line a lot. He used to have that ritual where he mumbled under his breath before he shot the ball. Yeah. And then even Havla something, Hornacek used to do this. He would rub his face, and that was some shit to his family. Jeff Hornacek. But like, I just hated I hated Karl Malone's game. Why the Heat not getting prime time TV game? Just noticed the first in the East. Yeah, I've watched them play twice. Yeah. Because they're too busy putting on Luka. They're too busy putting Luka on TV. Now, I've only seen Luka a handful of times, too. I guess if you got the NBA TV package, Bengals is a lock. Hey, Greg. Hey, Kenny. Bengals a lock. I don't know. I'm still evaluating. The over and under is definitely a lock. I think 48 is great. I think 48 is great. Yeah. I'm still, like I said earlier, you look at marketing. Now, I guess it's, the more I go into it, the more I would start saying the comparisons to the Patriots. Because the Patriots, I believe after the 9/11s when they changed from that Patriots hiking the ball, which I actually thought was a nice, the hat with the Patriot hiking the ball, I thought was really cool, other than hating the Patriots. But I thought the hat was cool. I thought that symbol was cool. They switched to the new banner, made it more marketable. Even though I wouldn't mind having a hat with the Patriots snapping the ball. I thought that was one of the AFL staples, If they win, it'll be that'll put it at 44. I don't care what it is, as long as it's under. Long as it's under 48. Long as it's under 48. Hornacek said that was his way of saying hi, yeah, to his children. Yeah. It's a bunch of dudes that do a lot of things. It was one cat that would put the ball behind his back, It was that Arenas. It was one cat used to put the ball behind his back to shoot. Free throws is a funny thing. It's like you have to do the same thing every time. You literally have to do the same thing because it is such a practiced muscle memory thing to make them every time. I remember we had some playoffs in the semi-pros, and The game was so tight. And then again, we got beat by a last second. This dude heaved it from damn near half court with two of us on him. I mean, he took two dribbles. We both went up, didn't foul him, and damn if he didn't hit. We was up by one. But I brought that up as like, this is my home gym. And I'm missing free throws. The pressure got so tight. I'm missing free throws. I think I missed 3 free throws. So it's just, you don't follow through, and you kind of pull the string, as they call it. I think Fans Edge has the hat with the Patriot on it. Yeah, I think I could get it. I've seen it. I like the Patriots jerseys, other than the red, white, and blue. I like that. I said this earlier. I like the stuff that they put on the shoulders. I think the last couple of years, those with the stuff on the, like Cam's number 1, I really thought would really be marketable just with the overall look of the Patriots jersey. I really thought the Patriots had an outstanding jersey. Really, really, really like those jerseys with that hat. That would be, to me, a good combination. Okay. Fans Edge. Okay, I'll look that up. But I think, yeah, with the bigger guy on there, I like that. It's like the Chargers, had the ugly helmets for years because they just had the white helmet with the yellow Thunderbolts. It looked so much better when they added the blue. Rams the same way. When Rams used to just be white and blue. And then they wore just all blue when they would go away. They wore all blue. But it's just so much more you can do with blue, and gold was always one of their colors. So the Rams have one of the most marketable teams as far as just the color combinations are really smart. And Cincinnati really doesn't, but we can see. I mean, it definitely could be a changing of the guard. It was one brother, and I wish I could remember his name. I'd start writing these people's names, but he was saying that this season was going to highlight a lot of the young guns. And since Mahomes has already had his, now we got an older dude with the young gun. Could the young gun win? And it really, I'll say this, it's almost a parallel to Kurt Warner in some ways. But Kurt Warner won the year before. And I'll tell you, if you have children that want to be a quarterback, have them study Kurt Warner. One thing the indoor league did for Kurt Warner, you talking about the quick release off quick reads? Nobody really better. Nobody really better of getting it out quicker than Kurt Warner. You watch Kurt Warner those first 2-3 years, and even when he was with the Cardinals and he had Larry, I mean, Kurt Warner could get that ball out. And that's where you also saw Kurt Warner get hurt on purpose by the Saints. Has the Rams replaced the GOAT God as Citrine? Yeah. Well, that's why it's there. Like they give man, I can picture the dude, because they give credit when they're in Cleveland, they give credit to one of the receivers. I know Crazy Leg Hirsch wasn't him. It was the other dude. Matter of fact, check this out. Maybe I'm pretty sure it's this Fears. Tom Fears, I think, is the first one that put the goat horn on the Rams helmet. And he was the only one that had it, and then they put it on for everybody. But I think it's Tom Fears. I could be maybe I'm getting the name wrong. But this cat, check this out. This dude later played with the Saints. He was, just like I talk about Hewitt, the defensive end, or the offensive end that does the pitch in the 1933 game that was definitely fixed. This guy was grandfathered in, and he playing in the 60s with a plastic helmet and no face mask. He wore number 25. This dude is in a game in the 60s where they make everybody else wear a face mask. But this dude played before the face mask was put in. And it is, I don't think I have that picture anymore. I think it was in one of the books I lost. But can you imagine a dude, if he got a hit, but he had a Saints helmet on, because that was the end of his career. But he's wearing a Saints helmet on without a face mask because he was grandfathered in. And it's just like that Hewitt dude. That Hewitt dude was one of the holdovers when you didn't have to wear helmets. It was up to you if you wanted to wear a helmet. And so that's why in the 1933 game, But what's the odds of getting that picture? I mean, what are the odds of him making that? I mean, you can just see it's all acting. But yeah, the goat is the thing with the Marduk. Yabatha, it's the same energy. Moses is shown with horns. Look at the Trevi Fountain. You can go on Pinterest and find a bunch of pictures with him with goat horns. That ain't nothing new. Oh, a couple dreadful things down here today. 2 more people was killed in a car on the north side, same place where most of the shootings occur. 2 dudes sitting in a car, both of them hit, both of them died. They said they claimed somebody got out the car, and then the young boy that got shot on the north side yesterday was the quarterback for North High this past season. So it's another attack of a high school guy. Bengals. The Bengals. Fires the Bengals being part of the ritual. Is that the question? As I said yesterday, it's the fight with the dragons and the goats, and it's a fight that's been going on for a long time. And so, I guess you can find a reference from a tiger and a dragon. I guess there are some references. Ship shaping, you take that in consideration, but it doesn't seem quite to me like that's the fight. You do have the goat, and they like the goat, elevated. So we'll see. I just I don't know. The Bengals just aren't very marketable, and it's all about business. It's all about selling shit. And as I said before, one reason why they have controversial plays is because it keeps the game alive. The game goes, here we are, the Tuck rule 20 years later, the game is still alive. There's still emotion. And that's what more than anything is emotion. They want emotions in these games. That's how people bet. People bet with emotions. People don't really bet, with their heads a lot of times. Like, remember Hunger Game, how dude was betting and he was betting with emotions? Chew them till I suck all the sweet off of them. And the sweetened tobacco is more agreeable than without it. But very soothing for the throat. Definitely very soothing. Yeah, I can't stay up too late tonight. I didn't get much sleep last night. And then, a bunch of calls, people calling me, I don't think I went to bed till 2 or 3 and turned around and had to be up early. Got to get up early in the morning too, but I don't mind. I'm kind of a morning person. My ex-wife used to say she was surprised how the clock would go off no matter how much or how little sleep I had. I just get up, and I'm still like that. I get up, turn my music on, start building my vibration. I always, every day, when I take my shower and shave, I'm playing music, and mostly love music. But it's just to build up the vibration. So, I come into the world, it's again, the witch is right, love or above. And the longer you can stay in that energy of love, the more positive it can kind of go for you. I would just say the more control too, the more control. And it seems like you won't be as argumentative either. I'm glad you said that. Okay. Not all Joes who was in the Super Bowl won, because people forget one Joe, and that's with the Vikings, Joe Cap. Joe Cap lost to the Chiefs. So not all the Joes won, because I saw somebody put that. And I was like, wait a minute. Joe Cap lost to the Chiefs. So there's a Joe that did lose. So remember Joe Cap. Joe Cap was a native brother. Colorado's MK Ultra, but Minnesota is like a PSYOP ground. Derek, I'm going to say that I'm agree with you 100% with that, because as I said, they okay, look at the Bastille killing especially he's supposed to have a permit. That was a psyop to stop brothers from getting gun permits to carry guns. That's all that was. I don't think that was a legitimate. I'm pretty sure that was a psyop. But I always felt this was a testing ground. And again, you can go back to watching Floyd. Floyd gets arrested in 19. And, you know, I say he does the crack, you know, the ghetto okay, the ghetto credit on my mama. My son still asks his friends that. Say it on your mom. Say it on your mom. He still says that. Say it on your mom. Oh, I just learned something. So that's what it's asking. Okay. Okay, cool. I got that. Yeah. All right. That might be a nice little hookup. Okay. But so 19, they go through it with him. And then you telling me the two main characters work together in a club? But I said there's another killing, Young. They claim that Young got shot in the back, shot while he was handcuffed. So they protest then. And I said what they blew, you know, they block one street. The financial thing would have been to block the whole side of town. That would have made these mugs act right. And that's the only thing I saw brilliant that Black Lives Matter did. They protest one night in the Mall of America. They probably put them out. They put them out. So there was they did a feint. They feint like they was gonna go to the Mall of America again and protest, and they wouldn't shut the exit down to the main airport. And our airport is busy. You know, Minneapolis, St. Paul area, we got two airports right by each other. There's two airports. You know, you flying out of Lindbergh or you flying out of Humphrey. And it was like it disrupted plane traffic for a minute. So that was smart that they did. But again, I thought this was a testing ground. Now, the one thing organic that I don't think they counted on, and I'll say was organic, 15 to 20-year-olds hit the streets in tens of thousands. We'll say that again. 15 to 20-year-olds hit the streets in tens of thousands. Now, granted, it's only 250,000 brothers here. But it was tens of thousands of people that literally took over the South Side. And that was organic. They didn't anticipate that shit. Since 09, every 4 years, a team with one Super Bowl, 09 Saints, 13 Seahawks, and 17 Eagles, 4 years later, get the Bengals trying to continue that streak. That's a good point because I forget that the Eagles did. No, the Eagles won Super Bowl before. Yeah. But you did say win their first Super Bowl. No, the Eagles did not win their first Super Bowl. And yeah. No. Well, he won. Vermeil won. Yeah. Eagles lost in, I guess they did. They lost to the Raiders. 77. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That is right. And that's my team. So the Eagles were the last new team. And I tease with people that they don't like, I'll say the Eagles won an NFL championship back in the 40s. So that the Eagles were the last one. And so it's possible there's a lot out there about the year of the Tiger. There's a lot. I mean, listening to Rambo and Zach, I kind of lean in that way, but I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of money. A lot of people are going to take that 4 and take the Rams. I'll say that. Now, will the Rams win by 4 or more? I don't think so. I think if the Rams win, they won't cover. If the Rams win, I don't think they'll cover. I'll say that the Rams had a better defense. But you know what's funny is Ramsey's talking about he want to be on the top receiver for the Bengals. Y'all remember the last game, Ramsey got beat for a touchdown. I'm like, yeah, no, we don't want you to cover the top receiver mug. You got beat for a touchdown in the last game. Remember that he got burnt. It was one-on-one coverage. He's supposed to be their main lockdown, one-on-one coverage, and he gave up a touchdown. And I think he switched sides to guard that dude. And it's hard. It's hard to guard somebody. Who was showing the Super Bowl prices tickets? Some of them tickets for the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl is one of the few championships that they really ain't public tickets. They're sponsors tickets, and the sponsors sell their tickets, and some of them tickets going for 100,000, 100 freaking thousand. I think who did they say Antonio Brown. They said he was paying $2 million for his suite at the Rams Super Bowl. Know about that for one game. I don't know if I'd pay that, but that's what they said. His suite's going to be. They lost Super Bowl 15, but remember, the NFC East is the only division to have every team win the Super Bowl. I did not know that, Lorenzo. That's like, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, they lost the Super Bowl to the Raiders. That was the one year when they lost to the Raiders. That was the year both my favorite teams made it. That was a decent year. It was like both of my favorite teams made it. I was in my early 20s. Super Bowl 15, yeah, it's probably in my early 20s, 30s. Well, yeah. 76, 75, 76, 77, maybe even 78. Yeah. Wilbert Montgomery. I don't know if y'all remember him. Wilbert Montgomery. He was the top back. He was sweet too. But he played too much on that old Franklin field, hurt his knee. And after he hurt his knee, was never really the same guy. But yeah, it's a lot going on this time of year. This is a fun time of year. Basketball, both colleges heating up. Alenard, what's happening? We've got the championship of football, which, as I said, it's a very demonic thing. But it's not like, hey, Mr. Lamborghini, it's not like everybody, practices being demonic. So you watch the game, have some friends over. I mean, you are working with the ritual, but, on your own level. So on your own level. I mean, you feed it energy, but, Hey, Key, what's happening? I mean, we feeding it energy, but it's like, you don't feed it a lot. Having a Super Bowl party because you enjoy football doesn't really feed the beast a lot. It's the people that are all in that do look at football as a religion, because some people do. I mean, there are people that'll fight you over their team. There are people that will fight you over their sports team. And that is how in people are. That is how locked into these games that people are. Like the people that don't believe. It's like a guy commented on my stuff, and he was saying, well, what did he say? He was like, flat earther or some old shit. And it's like, these guys really don't understand. And it kills me. This is one of the worst arguments for fixed sports, is too many people, so many people knowing somebody would tell. Why? Raider fans will fight. No, the worst fans is Philly fans. Them's the worst. I mean, you went to Philadelphia in the 70s, that old Franklin Field that had a jail. Yeah, they would whoop your ass. If you wore another jersey, yeah. I mean, Stephen A. Smith was funny. He was the first one I said, is like, yeah, don't wear another jersey up in there. Even though he's a Pittsburgh fan, he knew better. But the old Franklin Field where it was a jail, like even where the Phillies played, they had a jail. They got a room now where you can go break some electronics instead of, fighting, because it was so, Philadelphia fans were so prone to fight. Remember, look up the clip where they fucking, they had a losing season and Santa Claus came, it was like around Christmas time, and they was throwing snowballs at Santa Claus and shit. Shit was kind of funny. Oh, I got to stand up for a second. Oh, whew. Okay. It's long sitting. So I think Philly fans is the worst. And remember when the Vikings did the Minnesota Miracle, and then they had to go to Philadelphia. And I was telling people saying they was going, I'm like, look, do not wear this Viking shit. I'm like, they're like, oh, I'm like, I'm telling you, don't. And sure enough, because remember, a lot of times where you got to park to go to these stadiums, you know, you might have to walk a block or two. Yeah, they were showing people throwing beer cans at the Vikings fan as they was walking to the game. Like, fuck you, get out of here. Yeah. It's not bad as it was in the 70s, but in the 70s, they would just, motherfuckers, like I mentioned, Franklin Field had a jail. So it was common motherfuckers get drunk and be up in the stadium fighting, whooping ass up in there. Oh, yeah, I definitely got to stand up. Oh, let me stretch my legs. Whew. There we go. Okay. A little better. A little better there. That'll work. But I mean, that is the brainwashing that people take it to heart so much. They love it so much. Didn't the Eagle fans throw batteries at Santa Claus? They cheered when Michael Irvin got hurt, and it was his last game. Philly fans are rough. Yeah, they cheered when he got hurt, but he got hurt on that fucked up stadium. Remember, he got hurt in Franklin Field. Wendell Hayes got hurt the worst there. I brought this up before. Wendell Hayes, I think he went to LSU. He caught a ball and he came down, just straight down, just went up in the air, came down toward both his patella ligaments. And it got so bad. What was the old Ravens coach that won the first Super Bowl with the Ravens? That cat is he's with Arizona State this year. But that dude canceled the game. It was like a preseason game. He was like, fuck no. I am not letting my players play on this shit. But yeah, I remember them cheering when Michael Irvin got hurt. This dude wanted to fight in the VA when I said something about the Redskins, and he saw how mad I got and calmed down. I said, this shit is fake, but if you want your ass whooped, let's go. That's gangster there. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh, Veteran Stadium. Yeah, Veteran Stadium. Yeah. I get it mixed up with Veteran Stadium. I think Franklin Field was the college where they played at before. Yeah, Veteran Stadium. That was a fucked up place. I've been there a few times, and that was some of the worst shit. Worst shit. They was playing over what do you call where them you put the shit on your walls, the plywood. I mean, they showed one time how they put it together. They put like a plywood down and then put the turf and like a little bit of sand over the plywood and then put the turf over all that. That shit. That's why I did that video. Look at that video if you want to see how terrible that field was. That was some fucked up shit. Yeah, it is a good one. It's like this young boy lived in my garage all summer, and I was like, said something to him like, yeah, you can get your ass whooped. He kind of laughed, and I'm like, oh, you can get shot. He's like, I think I like the ass whooping better. That's what he told me. Because when he's like, okay, yeah, okay, you can get shot too, punk. So, he's like, yeah, the ass wouldn't be better. But I was just fucking with him. I just talk shit. I talk shit a mile a minute. But it's funny watching these conservatives and, all these states is getting rid of these masks. We'll see. And the way this shit wants the massive dynamic wants to give people strikes and shit for saying what the government is saying now. So what are they going to do? I mean, they took my channel away from explaining what my doctor told me. So they be on some bullshit for real. That's why I'm still having a hard time because I'm seeing shit. They running commercials on my shit. Like Sly bust him out for running commercials on his shit. Same thing, running commercials on my shit. And I ain't agree. You know, I ain't in that AdSense. The other channel was, but not this one. And I'm seeing commercials on my shit. So who getting that money? That's what Sly was saying. Who's getting that money? uh, yeah, I wanted to get this shit out too. There's a name. If you guys ain't, you guys been hearing about BlackRock, and they're the biggest financiers in the fucking country, but the motherfucker running is Larry Fink, and he's a conservative. Or no, he's a liberal cat. And so if you want to study more about BlackRock, Larry Fink, look him up. They're the ones that one of the main controllers of the funds that's moving around the earth now. And that seems to be how they've always wanted it. The money is in the fewer hands. I mean, if people studied the Depression, they took away all the money. That's what they did. They took away all the money. I mean, they literally took all the money out of circulation. That's why when people say a penny was worth shit and a nickel, and you'd hear those type of stories, because there really wasn't any money around. Not only did they get rid of jobs, stock market crashed, but they pulled all the money out. Now, inflation is the opposite, and inflation is because of the people making more. I saw bus driver 22 to 30. Somewhere else started 30. And all they did is added the cost up. So you making $15 is like you making $7 again with inflation. That's how they do this bullshit. Okay, we're going to pay you guys more, and you guys got all this free money, but now we're going to charge more for the goods. And we're going to cause these barges not to be unloaded. You know them dudes who drive them big cranes? You got to take the elevator up to go sit. You know how much them dudes make? Some of them dudes make a couple $100 an hour. So you telling me don't nobody want to do that? Run a crane all day to, unload them crates? That's not believable. That's not believable. Where the funds going? One of the most sought off questions on earth. Where were the funds going? It's funny how they blame a lot of that on starts off at 50 at the ports in Savannah. Okay. Yeah, I know. I got a partner that works or he used to work in Miami. He used to work down in Miami. He was a cool dude too. He had some. I've ran into some cool people through my life, but he was a cool dude. He was a hustler too, but he was making about $200 an hour. But that was in Miami. That wasn't out in LA, but that was in Miami. Because matter of fact, he was a dude. Like, how much do I want to tell her this? But when the shit would come into freights, we would know what freights to go to. It was like that was one of our connections. How do I want to say this? I don't want to get this brother in trouble. But see, there are ways. How can I say this? Okay. So if a freight is dropped, okay, and the freight bust open the seal, let me try to get this right. They can't go in it. They got to bring like officers to go in it. Yeah. And the security ain't what it is now. And we used to bum rush. Them. And that's where some of the stuff would be up in there. Yeah. Snoop got a record label that made his career, but he sure is going to give up something, or should I say someone, to get it. Yeah. I mean, he's, the cat ain't got a soul. When he played that, he played the demon, in that movie, he knew what he's preparing himself for. So it's funny, like he's played a couple movies where he wanted to be a pimp. That's what he really wanted to be. I'll say this: as a child, the dope dealers sold heroin, so they wasn't really shining. Like the numbers runners, if anybody shined the most, is probably numbers runners and pimps. I would say that's the two things that I always liked. I always admired pimps because I knew several. As I told the story before, the most clever pimp I ran into was a dude selling out of a Winnebago. You know, he's driving his Winnebago around this little town and picking up the Johns on the corner. And he got rooms, you know, a little Winnebago got little bunks. And so I always thought that was clever. Yeah, he gave up his mama. Yeah. That's why I was saying, you know, you look at all who's performing at the Super Bowl, all these fuckers is, you know, in the occult. The movie's really evil. I can watch it, but I got damn, man. That movie gives me the chills. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, that's part of what he was accepting. That's kind of showing you that shit. That's part of what he accepted, and he's showing it to you. So, but you can see he kind of wanted to be a pimp because he's in a couple pimp movies where they, you know, like he meets the chick in a beautiful chick in the grocery store, you know, and he's like, well, this is what I want, baby. And she's a pretty chick. And then she later gets killed in that movie. And it's like, okay. But I'll say this. I will say this. In the 80s, the hoes in LA were unparalleled. Unparalleled. You went on Sunset Strip and you seen them hoes in the 80s? Them hoes look like movie stars. This is before crack, and this is like kind of the beginning of the powder, you know, the powder stage in the early 80s. So people wasn't all coked out, like cracked out. Yeah. You wanted to buy some ass, you was picking up a star in the 80s. California, I think it's a tie. The prettiest people live in California and Florida. The ugliest people live in Wisconsin. 20 years of doing basketball in Wisconsin, Chicago area. Yeah. I would saw 20 years of ugly children and ugly parents. You know what they say? If you follow an ugly person home, an ugly person is going to be at the door waiting for him. That's not my joke. I stole that joke. But yeah, it was some ugly people in Wisconsin. But yeah, California in the early 80s, yeah, the women were, yeah. When you was buying some pussy, you was buying some pussy from a bad person. I mean, it wasn't no skank, you know. You saw people picking up like, did anybody watch the dating show where they picked up the crack lady? And and it was this guy that was supposedly straight, and she kept referring to, you know, she wanted to suck some dick so she could get her money and go get high and shit. I don't know. It's like the guy was trying to play straight. That was kind of funny. But she, the way they made fun of her was what a classical crack whore would look like. You know, bust down. You know, worse than a bust down. So, but now people overall are, you know, women taking better care of themselves. That's the you know, Title IX. I've said this many times. Title IX was to get away from Aunt B's. You know, Aunt B, you know, Mayberry with Andy Taylor. No, that wasn't his real name, whatever the fuck his name was. But from Mayberry, you know, that shape, the shape of European women in the 50s. And now if you look at, you know, since 1970, you got almost 3 generations. So you can see what Title IX did. I mean, the women look different. And when I grew up, European women may have big boobs, but they flatten the back. Now look at them. Three generations of women working out more. So do you see how they do things in advance? They knew through Title IX that would help the women look different. So you had the grandmama playing volleyball. You had the mama playing volleyball. Now the daughter play volleyball. And do you see the exercises they do in volleyball? It's nothing but to build your butt and your thighs up. Nothing but it. You're just, you know, you're leaning over all day. All those types of movements. And in the drills are nothing but working up that part of your body. So the women became more active and look different. They look different. Why do you think the pimp game changed? Renegade women? I think it was really more of a power dynamic. It was like at one time, if you looked at Lucky Luciano as a pimp, he had houses. So he wasn't the pimp that had to say anything. These people went into these places and asked for jobs. Like when you had the local whole houses, most of them, it wasn't a pimp necessarily controlling it. These women went there and asked if they could work. So when you're talking about on the stroll, and again, most of the pimp talk is from the 40s, 50s, 60s. As you got in the 70s and women became more independent, Superfly and the Mac that shit was kind of going out, especially the Mac. That kind of shit was going out. And so, and I know a lot of people say crack killed it in the way they did. But the one thing that was different was, like, as you were seeing all these women getting killed, selling pussy for some crack, you didn't really see that when they had pimps. So I'll say that to me, Mayberry used to be your show. The funniest Mayberry, but I'll finish my thought. But that's, I think, killed pimps too, is just the lack of control. But I was gonna say Mayberry, Ernest T. Bass, that was the funniest Mayberries. He's only on like 5 or 6 shows, but them ones with Ernest T. Bass is some funny shit. Like he can't read, but the girl won't marry him unless he learn how to read. I mean, that was some funny shit. Then they trick him at the end because he thinks he's marrying somebody, and then he pulls the shit up, and it's Barney. It's Barney Fife and shit. And I'll tell you, if you like one Don Knotts movie that's just funny as fuck, is The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. That's one of the funniest movies of all time with Don Knotts. And then the Apple Dumpling Gang too. That shit's funny too, with Don Knotts and Tim Conway. And Tim Conway was later with Carol Burnett. But that Carol Burnett shit, I watched that shit in 5th grade. I watched her every year she was on. I loved Carol Burnett. That was part of my Friday nights, was watching Carol Burnett, because I loved Tim Conway when she brought him. But just them as they were a lot like Saturday Night Live, a lot doing skits and shit. Variety show, they used to call them. So Saturday Night Live, they say the concept was new. It really wasn't new. Carol Burnett did the same thing. They just do skits. And she'd bring in guest stars, and the guest stars would do skits. It was like watching Bob Newhart. I remember my senior year, seemed like Friday night or Saturday, maybe Saturday night with Fantasy Island. But it's like Fantasy Island, Bob Newhart, and watching Carol Burnett. That's what we did in the Midwest for fun. That was some of my Saturdays. Chill with my girl, smoke, drink, and watch that shit. What time is it? 1. So it's got to be about 1 in the morning. Okay, I'll go on a little longer. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing the Chocolate Mountain Show every night again. Unless I don't feel like it. I'll still do the daytime show too. I got enough material where I can, got enough to share about something. Don't really run out of ideas. Really, we ain't watching no women's volleyball for the athletic ability. We watching it to see them bend over in them tight shorts. Let me tell you how I got suspended. BBL. What's up, Barbara? Big butt. Surgery. Like my partner that I did reffing with was an idiot, and I'm gonna straight up say idiot. So we're at a junior high game. We're doing a junior high tournament, so we're doing multiple games, and we're sitting there, and this motherfucker wouldn't quit talking about the way the young girls was looking. And I'm looking at him because he's like not really talking quietly. And that fucker got us suspended for the rest of the year. We didn't get to do games. We had a little church we got to do. We did all this church's games, but that was it. Our signer, and we had got suspended because of his stupid ass. And then he was like this. This dude would smoke weed in the car and then just kill himself with cologne. And people was complaining, saying, he coming in the gym smelling like weed. And I'm like, man, this shit's a profession. Be fucking professional. And because I was his partner, I got penalized too. I got penalized too. Yeah, we didn't really make a lot of money that year. Luckily, we was able to travel out of town and ref on the weekends. But yeah, our high school money was cut because he's talking about these, these younger girls, little girls. Now, it is kind of funny because when you do a varsity game, you got a 6-foot girl that's 16, 17. And, if you're that referee on the floor, the girls are bent like right in front of you. So, and they used to wear them a lot tighter in the 2000s. They don't wear them as tight as they used to. Now the shirts kind of are longer. But the girls back then wore them, the tighter the better. And then even college, the tighter the better. You went to college back then. I don't know. Who are you? I don't know why I'm coming in. This is Big Pontiac, baby. And you on the Galactic Patio. So that's who I am and why you seeing me. Brazilian butt lift is what they doing. They ain't going to the gym really. Yeah, I shouldn't. I know someone like that. I know someone like that. And the funny thing is, it's like she's naturally pretty, but she still did all that butt and thigh work. So, but a pretty girl still, but yeah. I guess some people like that. Some people like that, Barbara. They ain't doing it in the gym. Like the lady that does the gun show, you can see she had all that work. She talking about guns and, she got her back turned most of the time. You might need to be here. All right. I guess I'll finish with a divination. So I believe we're going to be into day 19. I'm pretty sure we were day 18 today. Yeah, we were day 18 today. So we're going into day 19 tomorrow, which is shock. So give me a second. That might be it there, right there. Oh, yeah. So day 19 is shock. Shock or shalalak. Storm elements. So this is the card going on to, what are we going into, the 11th? Yeah, the 11th. Kawak, storm, fire, rain, final surrender, purification, transformation, reunion, activation of the light body, thunder beam, lightning path, initiation by fire, Etsy of freedom. The symbol is thundercloud, lightning, or the white owl. The number is 19. So the color for today is purple. The herbs are inchacia, garlic, and verbena. Flowers, purple iris or stasis. Flower essence, rose of Sharon, transformation, Judas tree, lifting despair. Mistletoe, the scent is mistletoe or frankincense. Stones are suglite, purple fluorite, tanzanite, charoite, which is one of my favorite. I carry it all the time. Ametrine, element is water, direction coming out of the west. Denial, shadow wisdom, denial, fear of the unknown, issues of addiction, strong feelings of despair, separation from source, judging your physical transformational process, feeling the futility and despair. Shadow transformation, strip free from denying and judging your experience, access your essence self to carry you through the intense feelings that accompany profound growth. Turn your transformation over to spirit, surrendering that all that that separates, the illusion of separation. Freedom, harmonic wisdom is freedom. Mantra claps hands at the heart as if in prayer, interlocking fingers, then with tension raised, claps hands above the head, opening in explosively while making a purifying sound. And the meditation is enter the wave of ecstasy beyond the finite dance of the swirling veils. Fragments of the great self gather, moving homeland, rise up unavailed. And oh, the yellow girl, she do too much. Yeah, she's always got, you know, a shot of her backside. Not hating on her, but it's just kind of funny. And I started following some sister. I don't write names down, so I forget the names. But she had a nice bowl she was smoking. She was reading cards while she was smoking, and I think giving, you know, free readings, free cards out, giving everybody a card. So it was kind of interesting. She was getting her geek on, while, you know, reading the cards. So yeah, you know, you know, everybody. I mean, shit. I think chick just said she had 1 million viewers, or going on 2 million viewers, something. The gun chick. So you know, there's people like that. You know, it's like Match Me, which I really didn't mind Match Me, because I never, like, even now I forgot to disconnect from the internet, but uh kind of all sell themselves in a way. But Match Me, the girls is making out because they don't show nothing. I mean, some girls be a little lacy, but most of the girls be just dressed normal and just talk to motherfuckers. That's it. That's it. She just talked to motherfuckers. And it's thousands of motherfuckers watching, giving these chicks, at least with OnlyFans, you can see some, but these chicks, you ain't seeing shit. You know, a girl telling you you're a boss because you done gave her $20. But it's like it was amazing the amount of people that paid into that, because it was part of the Plenty of Fish thing. But I thought I saw the potential in it. You know, Match Me. I saw the potential in the server. I mean, I never saw it go down. I never saw. It was always a strong signal, so I saw the potential in it. It's just building up a channel and taking the time. And some of them people stay in front of their phones or computers all day. I mean, literally all day. So I ain't got all day. Well, you know, I always say, Mora, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. The civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent. And to all my relations, I am another yourself. So I should be on tomorrow. Don't really have any appointments except early. I got a couple early appointments. Ooh, chiropractor too. Acupuncture and chiropractor. Cranbrook. What was it? I never knew Cranbrook was a real high school till Nick Taylor revealed it about Michael Dyson. Oh yeah. Yeah. A guy wrote Bloomfield Hills really now ain't what it used to be. Matter of fact, well, I'll stay on this and see if I can remember the name of the lake. But Bloomfield Hills, yeah, Isaiah Thomas. But I went there, I think I was in 3rd grade, because my stepmother's father lived there, and he was a doctor. He was a doctor, and there wasn't too many brothers and sisters out there. But I know it later Isaiah Thomas lived out there. Now it's not what it once was. Gross Lake Point is another one. Jerry Stackhouse had bought on Gross Lake Point. That's another suburb of Detroit. And I remember seeing that house for sale again. And I remember Stackhouse probably paid 8 or 10 million. And I remember seeing that house for sale like 1 or 2 million on the lake. And where I think Stackhouse paid like 10 million for that house. So yeah. Well, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I do have a busy morning. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm not going to go can't go too much longer. But just kind of wanted to let people know I'll be back on at midnight and doing the earlier show too, while I wait for my daughter to come from school, you know. And I'll say this to everybody. It's like we're talking about gangsters and pimps and stuff, but it's such a better life where people ain't after you. People don't want nothing from you. People ain't bothering you. I mean, that is such a good life, you know. 8 Mile, Lorenzo said 8 Mile. Can you get to I don't know if you can get there from 8 Mile, territorial, 8 Mile, territorial. Yeah. You got 9th Mile, 10th Mile as you coming from Dearborn, I believe. And Dearborn is where, all the Muslims, they gave the Muslims Dearborn. They gave it to them. And now what's sad about Detroit is you have something like 400 or 500 gas stations in Detroit, and it's like one brother owns one gas station. Them Arabs that live in Dearborn own the rest of them. It's like one dude, one brother owns it. So how did these people come in and get the loans to buy the gas stations? And we saw the same things with what they did with the Koreans. Kind of, you can follow the pattern when the Jewish faith people got burned out of the black neighborhoods. You can see how they was bringing people in. Matter of fact, before I left Michigan in 2006, they started bringing the Arabs in. And as I said before, I saw the first Afghanistan family here. They was in Marshall. So it's a matter of time. And remember, when you watch what's the gangster movie, Menace to Society, and you see Koreans, they brought these people here and gave them loans. But you took a person that lived in that hood, they couldn't get that loan to open that store up. And you watch how the government did this. I mean, this is what King's talking about when King says how they brought all these peasants to the Midwest and helped them. Well, they would bring these foreigners across America and set them up. I mean, I watched the same thing with these Somalians. When they brought these Somalians here, you know what they did? They gave them garage jobs. Before the garages, when you went into the parking garages downtown, people were still running them before the computer, before now you just use your card. But before, it was them. And they gave them the cabs. They set them up with the parking ramps, which was substantial. I mean, in Minneapolis, there's parking ramps everywhere. Everywhere. And all the cab drivers. So they set them up in businesses. They was giving the mothers and the families like 50 grand. And the CIA brought these people over here in the late 80s, early 90s. They were giving them Section 8, full medical, and 50 grand. 50 grand per family or mother. The father didn't come. That's what Omar came over here with. I used to do security in the building, like I was talking about. There's several buildings that are like 10 to 15 story buildings where they make not make them, but where a lot of them live. I'm not going to say all of them, but where that voting block is where these buildings are. There was an apartment that was on the top floor, maybe the 14th. This was a penthouse that was laid. And I mean, even back then, the rent wasn't terribly bad, but it was one of the nicest apartments I've been to living here. I've been here for 15 years. And that was back in 94, 95. They had lived here a year then. It was one of the nicest I'd been to. And now they control that building. I mean, this apartment had views of the whole downtown. It was one of the few that wasn't blocked by walls and shit. This shit had a view of all downtown. And you up about the 14th, 15th floor, and all the building now is Section 8. Most of them. Most of the Somalians. And as I was saying, the funny shit was seeing the first meth head Somalians and the crackhead Somalians. So you escape war and genocide to come over here just to be a freaking crackhead. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. I'm sorry. That don't make no sense. Yeah, they got Dearborn. Mm-hmm. That's where the Henry Ford Museum is. Yep. Yeah, the Henry Ford Museum is in Dearborn. They used to let you look at them papers. Henry Ford didn't like them peoples. And he took over the local paper. And they used to let you read that shit. I don't know if they still let you read it. And like I watched some shit on History Channel back, years ago. They tell me about these books and them papers. And I went down there, and at the time, they would let you still read that shit. There was a place in this museum where they had all of that shit in bind, and you could read that shit. And he hated them people. He gave Hitler, matter of fact, I said this before, Band of Brothers kind of talks about his factory. His factory only had windows broke. If you wonder how they went from high inflation society to a society that was able to build the Autobahn and armament army, where did the money come from? How they go from broke, high inflation, it take you a barrel of money to buy a loaf of bread, to all of a sudden they able to build tanks and shit. Henry Ford was one of them that had a factory over there. Probably still got some types of factory. But Henry Ford hated them people. He hated them. He liked Hitler. He was like anything to get rid of them. He hated them. Hated them. Hated doing business with them. I mean, if you read his autobiography, he tell you he hated them motherfuckers. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. And it ain't just one group of people. It's a combined effort of people. And it is, as I said, it's some demonic motherfuckers that's out there. It is a society of that shit. And being 60, I've watched this shit. Like I was talking about last night, talking about the divine feminine, when she started porn. She put the push behind porn. Yeah. Now, that shit got so gross that, even it fucked her up. Like, wow, I didn't really think it turned into this. That shit, like the snuff shit, the animal shit. I mean, it's just the grossest of the gross shit you could see. I don't even know if that shit is porn. This is like the weirdo hour and shit. Should have a show. Let's see how weird this motherfucker can be. I am going to let you go, but remind me to talk about the Somalians tomorrow or another time. They showed their ass to us. Oh, like I was saying, to see a Somalian crackhead and to see Somalian meth heads, it's like, wow. Wow. Well, Mr. C, I talk about a little everything. There ain't no one topic. I talk about everything. I don't hate anybody neither. I just despise your ways. There you go. And actions too. Actions, It's like, I don't hate my exes. I just look at what they do. And it's like, my mother's like, well, you were hurt. I'm like, I wasn't hurt. I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I mean, my children's mother, she pretty much gave me the children. Like my 16-year-old son, she gave me him at 2. I pretty much just had to take him. And then my other son at 6 months, she went through that postpartum shit. And I had him at 6 months. And then the young one that lives with me that's 19, I mean, I legally got custody of him at 2, at 10, but technically at 4. But I don't hate her. She wasn't a good mother. I mean, she can't look at anybody and say I was a good mother. But I don't hate her. She's doing better. And because she followed me here to Minnesota, her life is better. She can't deny that. Compared to if she would have stayed in Michigan, being an addict, wouldn't have turned out well for her. I mean, there's a couple women that's been in my life. My ex-wife that I helped get through college. She started living with me for 2 years, staying in my apartment when I was gone, because she didn't have no room, no place on campus. And then I took her to Michigan. Met my stepmother. She started subbing our first year in Michigan in 85. That next school season, after subbing only 1 year, she got 30 years with that place. 30 years teaching, all because she knew me. Where her best friend that stayed in North Carolina worked 20 years in daycare. Never could get a teaching job. Hell, where I went to school in Greensboro, this is a college town. It is probably 6 colleges. So the competition for teachers down there, and they weren't making near as much money. Where my ex lived, the only other place in Michigan that paid more was Detroit. It was the second highest paying town, even though it was a small town of about 50,000 people. It paid teachers the highest. And within, I think, 5 years, she had tenure. And I was a cop. I mean, we had a good life. I bought my first house at what, 80? I was 88. So I was 27, 26 maybe. Yeah. I mean, we had only been in Michigan. We moved to Michigan in 85. Within 4 years, I bought a house. coming from completely different states. So anybody, you can have opportunities, but you can't look back and say, like, I didn't lose the house. I gave it to her. My children were raised in that house. Other than my oldest son living a few years here with me, they was raised in that house. So I ain't mad that I had to give that house up. That was a house I gave up for my children. So you can't be bitter about things that it ain't even worth being bitter about. That's all my point is. My point is, you be in people's lives long as they let you, long as you can stand, and long as you get along. My youngest daughter's mother and I are probably best friends. In some ways, I don't know who she dates. I don't be in her business like that. But when it comes down to serious shit, she turns to me. We got to go handle some business. And I'm going with her to handle some business. This motherfucker want to act any kind of way. Well, I can act any kind of way too. Now I can go places and act any kind of way. Can't bully women and think that's it, that these women don't know nobody. And that's kind of what they're facing. So, I'll go handle it. And I don't ask for anything in return. We help each other. We help each other. And so you can take, bitterness, disappointment. I mean, it's nothing wrong with having that feeling, but you got to get over it and continue. Be here now. Oh, let me hand it out. It's coming. Oh, okay. Didn't mean to activate it, but okay. I'll hand it out. That's why I say I listen to love music when I wake up. R&B, jazz. Work on, as I say, the witch is right. Love and above is right. That is how your meter should be when you leave your house. Super Saiyan. I mean, the energy you should have when you get up is a Super Saiyan. I've been saying this shit for years, telling people that. You leave your home, you should be a Super Saiyan. That is how high you should be vibrating. Because once you go out in the world, it's all kind of bullshit that just tries to take away all your love and your high vibration. And I've talked about how, you can come out the shower and the wife be pissed about some shit. The children didn't do some shit. And, your own family will lower your vibration. And they don't mean to, but it's just the tax of being dad or whatever you are. They don't mean to lower it, but it's like they ain't vibing high. So one way what you do is you vibe high enough where you'll see the shit go through your children and everybody. Just because how high you raised your vibration. Because one day you'll see like, shit, this shit is like going smoothly this morning. Why? Well, you helped it. You helped it. You helped it. So don't let people take your love. Don't let people take your energy. Don't let people lower your vibration. That's really what being bulletproof is. It's like little shit just bounce off you. You don't get uptight about it. Like my cousin just passed, and this is something that I don't. Again, the town I grew up in was only 100,000 people. We only had about 8 high schools. It wasn't a very big city, but my cousin was bullied as a boy, and he had an older brother, and everybody just fought all the time. I mean, but he held that. He held that being bullied his whole life, and in some ways, it turned him into a bully and a hothead. And I'm not downing my cousin. It was just telling you the kind of cat he was. And it's like he was telling me, he's like, well, so-and-so and them can't bully me anymore. And I'm like, them niggas is still going around in our 20s bullying niggas? Like, this was shit you did in grade school. Of course, it was some people that fuck with me, but it's like, I didn't take it to heart. I had cousins all around too. So I didn't take it to heart. And plus I had hands. I liked to fight when I was a boy. Mm. Can crystals help you find your soul? Where do you think your soul is? I guess that's my question. Do you know where your soul is? Because you have your soul. You have your spirit and your soul. Now, if you're saying can crystals help you get closer to your soul, it just depends on what type of crystals and what you're asking for. Like, what is the question? You know, like can simple quartz, and I should have brought some quartz up here. Well, I guess the closest I got is, well, this is a diamond. It's like this Hecamer. I mean, this has so many different possibilities of messing with it. But I mean, there are crystals that that you can look for that. Now, offhand, really couldn't tell you offhand. You'd have to hit me in another show. I had to do a little research. Yeah. Niggas stuck in grade schools is still haunted by it. Niggas stuck. And what's funny is I got friends, and it's funny, I got friends that I'll call and they will talk to me about high school stuff. And it's like they'll remind me of games because I mean, think about it. My high school games, to me, my college games became more important. And then my semi-pro games became more important. So it's like a lot of the high school stuff, like they'll be talking about that shit. And I'll be like, oh, really? And I'll be to forgot that shit. Don't even remember that shit hardly. I remember my dunks and shit, but just some of that other stuff. Like he was talking about another team. He's like, and you had 30 that night as a junior. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, you had 30 against so and so. I'm like, I had 30? I'm like, okay. Okay. He says, isn't the NBA rigged? Aren't you scared of Alvin Silver finding you? Hell no. Hell no. Stern before him. Stern before him. It's them peoples. That's who it is. It's them peoples. That's who runs basketball. I ain't gonna just say it's Jesuits. That's the new name for the Illuminati is the Jesuits. And so to rename the Illuminati makes me wonder, about that. Like why did the Illuminati need to be named differently? You could have said that the Illuminati was the Jesuits. Some of the same people operated in them. So nah, I ain't scared of Adam Silver. I mean, they know who I am. I'm, as I said before, there have been things that have been blocks that have been put out there, and it's before I've said any of this. So they've been fucking with me for years. So that's all right. So no, that don't scare me. Do the same shit. Yeah. And I'll be like, I don't even be remembering that shit. I don't even remember that shit. Because it's my high school stuff isn't as important as my college stuff was. All my college games I played on TV. And so it's just like it's not as important. Whereas other people didn't really move on like that. Like they tried a little bit and they really couldn't do it. Like I had a couple partners that went to the same junior college. Again, they moved from Michigan to Washington State and went to a junior college. The best defensive player I ever saw was a cat named Eddie Boyd. And Eddie Boyd could press people by himself. He could press a whole team by himself and lock them down. I mean, his anticipation unmatched. We used to sit on the side where he was pressing so we could watch what he did. I mean, this guy was amazing. How he could press three people, and if he didn't steal it from one, he got the pass. Because it was either you going to pick the ball up, but when you try to pass, he was stealing. He was so good at stealing from the dribble, and referees used to foul him out on purpose. They'd give him 4 fouls in the first half to stop him from stealing the ball. When you say you messing with crystals, what do you mean, and how do you mess with them? I don't just mess with crystals. I wear this stuff constantly. I mean, this is like crystals are my lifestyle. Not a day goes by that I don't meditate with crystals. Like I have crystals in my shower. Like I bought that eucalyptus, and I have a sugarite bar that I rub because sugarite comes from water that I rub as a healing. And when I pray in I normally pray in my bathroom. I pray to the daily direction. I'll hold that sugar while I pray. And so there are a lot of different ways to work with crystals. I mean, again, if you want your vibration to work to be a little higher, quartz can do that. So, yeah. So and I could even teach people how to use them. It's not that hard. Silver's a weasel. Yeah, he is. A weenie. Would you say Giannis is the greatest player of this era? I would say just depends, because shit. What Steph has done as a fixed game. You can kind of throw Steph in there too. Is there such thing as a money crystal? What would be considered a money crystal would be yeah. I'm having an old man moment. It'll come to me. Okay. It'll come to me. But there's a money crystal. It's in this book, I know. I just can't think of the name of it. I'm having an old man moment. Should be in here. Oh well. Citrine. Yeah, citrine. Don't get this kind of goddamn citrine. This is baked. This is fake citrine. This is baked. This is amethyst that they baked. Citrine tends to look more like that. My crystals are polished and clear, but don't buy no shit that look like this. This is baked. But citrine helps with bringing money to you. Specifically, what you could do is so if you had some citrine, you take citrine and you put citrine in the furthest corner in your room that's away from your front door. So I can't tell you where your front door is, but that's how you work citrine. Yeah, the furthest corner away from your front door. That's where you would put it. Because the cool thing about rose quartz is it's going to put you in the love vibration. And so it's going to raise your vibration because it's going to put you in the love vibration. So yeah, I've got a spear. But yeah, that's what's good for rose quartz. Put you in that love vibration. It's a couple of them. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good thing to, like, with a relationship. If you married and you have a wife, it's good to have that in your room, in your bedroom where you sleep, rose quartz. Because it keeps that kind of harmony going between you and your girl. Or your man, Yeah. But yep, it can raise your vibrations for sure, because it will put you in that love vibration. Because remember, it starts with love of self. That's, you got to love yourself. You don't love yourself. Like, you don't like think about it like this. How many of you look in the mirror to do your hair, put your makeup on, or shave, and you don't really look at yourself? Because I've watched X do this shit. They really don't look at themselves. It is such putting on the face and doing the hair. They are so programmed where I would watch them. They ain't really looking at themselves. They looking at where the makeup needs to improve, need to put another curl in the hair. But they really wouldn't look at themselves. Like, I catch myself drinking coffee, and I enjoy drinking coffee in the morning. But there are times where I don't even taste the coffee. I've been in a drink, because I normally drink about a cup and a half. And I'll look at it when I'm done, and I'm like, I didn't even taste this stuff. I didn't even enjoy it, is my point. Here's something I really enjoy doing and doing in the morning, but yet I didn't even enjoy doing it. I'm just doing it, not enjoying doing it. So, what do you use obsidian for? Well, most black stones are protective, and obsidian would be one of those that would be under the protective source. I use it. I have mirrors and I have crystal balls, and I use it for mirrors. The cool thing is you can meditate with it too. And there's different kind of obsidian. But what did she say? Spiritually, obsidian visualizes soul purpose. It eliminates energy blockage and relieves tension, integrating the psychological shadow into the whole to bring spiritual integrity. It anchors the spirit into the body. This stone stimulates growth on all levels. It urges exploitation of the unknown and opening new horizons. So, and there's black obsidian, of course. There's a gold sheen obsidian. Matter of fact, one of my omen heads is gold sheen obsidian. There's mahogany obsidian, which I have some. I don't have any rainbow obsidian, and I don't have any red black. So, yeah, it'll work for you like that. Those are some possibilities. Yeah, but I'll use the mirror. And last night I did a little mirror work. And the mirror work really, really does help with getting visions and stuff. It really does help with that. So that's, the positive. Oh, okay. That's the positive. It's like I don't believe in crystals. I know about them. So I don't have to believe in them. Like my ex was like, well, I don't believe in them. I don't believe in it either. I know about them. So you shouldn't believe about anything. You got to know. It's in the knowing. And from knowing, it turns into your awareness. You start working on your awareness. Because only through awareness can you move, really, truly move through this thing. Move on all levels of it. Not just stuck in this. There's so much more. The only way you leave your body is dreams. It's more. You can leave your body, it's just practice, not just dreams. It's not enough. Because you're not prepared for death. Unless you can, you start trying to leave your body now, you won't be prepared for death. Be it quick or slow, you won't be prepared. Meditation and really going beyond, we're getting into the black, and even just getting used to closing your eyes and seeing what's coming, seeing what you're creating, seeing that prepares you for death. To study death. This place make you scared of death. You should study death. Well, as some people say, this gives you a study of life, which I agree. It's a study of life too. But it prepares you. Like technically, your bed should be in the east. Your head should rest in the east and your feet in the west. Because the sun rises in the east and that helps the crown. What's a good crystal to have for problem sleeping? Problem sleeping. Because that's two different things. There it is. Now, as far as dreaming is, if you're having problems with dreams, but just problems sleeping, this is a quick reference I can give you. Give me a second to look it up. This is Judy Hall, the other book I looked at. Judy's a channeler. She channels, and that's kind of how she writes her crystal information. Let me see where is it at? Where did they put it? And this just gives a quick. Here we go. Sleep is moonstone, topaz. What she gives is moonstone or topaz. Wear or place under your pillow. I have black or green kyanite, which helps with dreams and clarity in dreams. This is black kyanite. But I have some green kyanite that you can put in your pillows. Let me say, it says also reference insomnia. Oh, I think all this is it. No, that's not it. Sorry, while I look up shit. Because I'm looking up insomnia. Insomnia. Agurite, amethyst. Amethyst is really easy to get. I think it's some within reach of me. Where'd it go? I was just looking at a piece. Huh. Well, that's weird. Maybe just the way the light shined on that one, I took it. Charite, hematite. This is specular hematite. Very grounding, though. My big mirror is made of this stuff. This stuff is made in Michigan. See how it kind of sparkles. Lepidolite, moonstone, muscovite, topaz, magnetite or lodestone. So you can place it head or foot of bed. This is a nice little, nice little thing for different kind of things that ail you. Crystals, how you can work with them. Even gets where, like elixirs. You make crystal elixirs. Elixirs, excuse me. So, well, I think this is going to do it. Went a little longer. So I hope that helps you, B. Brown Lee. I received a large piece of obsidian that was a part of this mountain in the redwoods of California. Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's a very protective stone. You can get good meditations off it too. Like even like say I'm not able to connect and turn the stone on, as far as with the crystal ball or even the plate, I'll just meditate with it. And it's a good rising, a higher vibration stone. Yeah. So yeah. Well, till we meet again, say less.